Hello y'all, it's me again, and with this video I'm going to be doing something I haven't yet done because nothing like this has ever happened, but as all of you are probably aware, there's a recent outbreak with a new, little virus. You've probably heard of it. It's called COVID-19 coronavirus. Yeah, some spooky shit. No, for real. What I'm deciding to do with this is I'm going to be making a quarantine unseen movie review thing. The first movie that we have here is Emma. This is a strange one. No, so I went to watch this one in theaters with my family because I thought it looked a little interesting. I thought it looked fun. I like old period pieces like this. I wasn't aware of the novel at all. I do like both Anya Taylor-Joy and Mia Goth, and I wanted to see how they would act with each other in this movie, and more or less I thought the film looked like it was going to be shot well. I knew it was a Jane Austen film, and this movie was really lame. To be honest, I'm not even gonna lie, I walked out of this one in theaters. There wasn't much for me to say, but eventually at some point, I decided since I already paid money to watch Emma, I thought I would just stream this movie.
I'll steal it! No one will ever know!
And yeah, it was really boring. The movie was filmed alright, but there wasn't anything notable or spectacular about how it was filmed at all. I thought the acting was fine, mediocre at worst. There wasn't really any problems I had with the acting. I think the biggest problem I had with this movie was I thought almost everything that makes a movie was such a trope in this film. The humor was unfunny at most points. There is one joke I actually did enjoy, and it involved a piano playing session.
What a pity you did not bring your music.
I hope I can recollect the tune. Nobody in the world plays like you.
That's the only thing I can give the movie. I didn't care about this Emma character at all. I didn't care about this new girl, Mia Goth's character. I didn't care at all about the love story, the love interests. I didn't care about the dad. I didn't care at all about the story. As the movie was going, I was planning out in my mind every scenario and how it would go if it was like some lame or cheesy film, and that's exactly how it played out in the movie. Literally before every scene, I was just planning out as to what would happen and in what order, and at one point, it just kept happening exactly the way I expected, and I was passing out. Honestly, I was bored at some point, and the lady next to me just kept laughing. She kept laughing hysterically at every joke that this movie made. Good for her. I didn't understand half of the jokes, so I did what I haven't done since the 2017 film Baywatch, and I walked the f*** out of there. I did not want to finish the movie. Now that I have finished it, it's as predictable, lame, and boring and bland as I expected, and that from initial viewing. I don't think this movie should be seen. I thought it was very underwhelming. I wouldn't even call it disappointing. It's just lame. Like, there's no point in watching it. You're not going to get anything new out of this movie. Like, I couldn't recommend this film any less. I'm giving it a 3 out of 10. Star Wars Rogue One. Yeah, so I liked it, but there's a lot about it that was making me not too impressed. I thought Felicity Jones was pretty boring in this movie.
I rebel.
I literally didn't care about many characters, but they were all so much more interesting compared to her. I just think it didn't really do like this. The fighting scenes were great. In fact, the last 20 minutes were so good that that's what brought it up to a higher rating. But like, people have seen this movie. There's not much to say about it. I mean, like, I overall enjoyed it, I guess, but it wasn't doing much for me until the last 20 minutes. And if you haven't seen it, there's no point in watching it if you haven't seen it. If you have, then you either like this or you don't. I enjoyed it, I guess, but there's really not much to say about it. I'll just 6 out of 10. There you go. Frozen 2. Yeah, actually, I was expecting this one to be bad. A lot of people felt underwhelmed from who I asked who did see it. It was either people who were underwhelmed or people who thought this was the best movie ever. So I went in expecting that it would be pretty lame, and I actually kind of enjoyed it. It's definitely not as new and original, obviously, as the original, but there was a lot about this movie that I loved. The animation was stunning. I didn't hate the new songs. Like, they were overall interesting. I thought some of the character and new creature designs were really cute. Even though Olaf was more annoying in this movie, he was never like intolerable, I don't think. And just, holy shit. I mean, again, the animation, just look at this. Oh my god, I mean, shit. This was definitely a lot darker than the original, and I like the way that the story went. I hope and I believe that this is the last Frozen movie they'll make, and it could have been a lot worse. That's all I'm gonna say. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I did, and let me just say, Hair Down Elsa, I think, has awoken something in me. I don't know. Ooh, 7 out of 10. The Talented Mr. Ripley. Yes, a friend of mine recommended this movie, and let me just say, this was a really good movie. I literally don't want to say anything about it. If you don't know anything about this movie, just go watch it. I believe it's on Netflix in the US. If there's any way you can watch this movie, watch it. Trust me, I thought it looked uninteresting too. Just watch this. This movie's batshit bananas. It's awesome. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. Magic Mike. Yeah, I sat through the entirety of Magic Mike. What got me to watch this movie? Steven Soderbergh. I love the director. I mean, he directed one of my favorite films ever, Contagion. He's the director of Ocean's 11, Logan Lucky.
My life of crime is over. But you did make breakfast this morning.
Unsane. He directed High Flying Bird, which I didn't like that much. Laundromat, which I didn't dislike. And Side Effects, which I'm actually very excited to watch. He also made Traffic and Sex, Lies, and Videotape. He's made a lot of movies. That's where I'm trying to get at. And he's made a large variety of movies. And so I wanted to know how he would tackle this. And I'm gonna be honest, like, they're really talented with their dance moves. I understand it's stripping, like, haha, okay, Austin watched Magic Mike. But the movie didn't suck. I found, like, a lot of the crazy situations that the characters were getting into were entertaining to watch on screen. I mean, the only thing that holds this film down is the god-awful love story with Channing Tatum and this other character. I didn't hate this movie. I was entertained. I mean, I know it's a meme, but I can confidently say that I give this a 6 out of 10, which is like a pretty good score. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was very well shot too. So yeah, I think it's fair to give this a 6 out of 10. Then literally right after that, I saw Schindler's List for the first time. This is obviously a lot better than Magic Mike. Schindler's List is one of those movies that people always say, like, oh, this is one of the best movies ever, like, must watch, and messed me up. And yeah, it lives up to all that hype. It was, oh my god, oh my god, it's such a heartbreaking movie. It lives up to its hype. It's definitely a 10 out of 10 for me. The King of Comedy. Yes, I saw the Joker prequel, aka King of Comedy, starring Robert De Niro as one of the funniest but one of the most depressing characters ever portrayed on screen, Rupert Pumpkin.
Carol Burnett, and the comedy find of the year, making his television debut, Rupert Pumpkin, the new King of Comedy.
Rupert!
Ah,
People
Mom!
are sleeping. Lower it. What's the matter with you?
Mom!
This is a Martin Scorsese film that was released in 1982, and it is about a man who believes that the only way he'll make it with his comedy career is if he gets his big break on a talk show. The Jerry Langford Show, played by Jerry Lewis, which is pretty funny. It's one of those movies where I can't really explain it because saying too much can ruin what makes this film so special. I will say it's quite an uncomfortable watch. It's really funny, it's really uncomfortable, and it can get a bit depressing at points, but it's definitely a lot more realistic and less preachy with its message than Joker.
Oh, stop, that hurts. Oh, society.
It's so stupid. Oh my god, what am I doing with my life? I actually found quite a bit of flaws with Joker after watching this movie, and just the way the characters interact with a man like this is a lot more logical and makes a lot more sense than how mistreated the Joker was in Joker. And you can tell this and Taxi Driver were the two big inspirations for the film Joker. Joker aside, this movie's so good. Like, just go give it a watch. 9 out of 10, I really enjoyed it. Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah, this meme. I don't have much to say. It's a basic story mixed with almost no stakes, pretty lame jokes, and a frustrating mix of product placement, which is keeping this from a higher rating. Although I will say, I did have some fun with Jim Carrey. There were some moments in the movie that were kind of fun, that weren't as bad as I expected, but like under those few good jokes, there's a lot of fart jokes, flossing. You know everything's gonna be fine by the end. Like, there's no stakes at all with this movie, but I didn't hate it. I just disliked it enough 4 out of 10. I think 4 out of 10 is a perfect rating for this movie. What If, a romantic comedy starring Zoe Kazan and Daniel Radcliffe. It also has Mackenzie Davis and Adam Driver. If you like any of those actors, check this one out. Yes, it's a dumb, extremely predictable romantic comedy. But I enjoyed it. Like, I enjoy movies like this. It was fun. Like, everything that happened, I expected to happen. Like, literally, if you want, make a list on a piece of paper or on your phone or anything of basic romantic comedy movie tropes. And this gets all of them down, like, completely. It's the most predictable thing ever, but it's funny.
I just had sex. I'm about to eat nachos!
Like, humor's subjective, but I found a lot of the crazy moments in this movie to be really funny, especially one scene involving an apartment. Holy shit, you don't see stuff like that in comedy movies that often, and I was very impressed by how much I enjoyed this movie. And I do have a small guilty pleasure for lame romantic comedies, I will admit that, but this one's pretty good, and it's on Amazon Prime. It's not too long, like it's about like an hour and 30 minutes. Just check it out. I enjoyed it quite a bit. 6 out of 10. The Hunt. Ooh, the most controversial movie of 2019. It was so bad that they had to delay it because 2 shootings happened. It was so gory that Fox News and all these political news companies and channels protested against the movie, saying it was way too messed up for society, man. This is the movie, right? The most talked about movie of 2019, baby.
Your thoughts on the cultural impact of this film being released at this moment?
Hollywood has a responsibility on its cultural impact to society.
Society!
There's a responsibility in our business to not have this something like this happen. It's a no-win film. I don't care if there's comeuppance. We shouldn't be propagating that in society.
Society!
In society. Society, propaganda.
Inflame and cause chaos.
Hollywood is racist.
No one has suggested the movie had any racist material in it.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Look, I'm not really political myself, but I do have a political bias, but I'm gonna be honest, seeing both sides of the political spectrum being poked at so brutally in this movie was pretty goddamn funny and entertaining to someone like me. I understood why there was controversy surrounding this film. I don't, however, think it was for the right reasons. There's a story that may seem like that on the surface, but everyone is made fun of in this movie, and if you're someone who doesn't take shit too seriously, I think you can have a good laugh at yourself or the other side. If you do have that, then this is the perfect film for you. I had so much fun watching this. Like, there were moments in it where it felt so ridiculous and dumb. Like, this is no Citizen Kane. I knew what I was getting into with this, and it didn't disappoint at all. I like watching a dumb old fun movie every once in a while, even if that dumb old fun is covered with political satire and gore. But whatever, I think a 6 out of 10 is a fair rating for this. I mean, I enjoyed it. The Invisible Man. Yeah, this is one of the few movies that I'm gonna give such a high score, but there's a lot wrong with this movie. When I first saw it, and even now, I'm between a 6 or a 7 out of 10 for it. But overall, I mean, like, I've seen it twice and I enjoyed it. But there's so many points in this movie where so many inconveniences could have easily been avoided if the characters were just smarter. That got a bit frustrating to watch. But I will say, Elizabeth Moss did a great job in this movie. And it took a very different turn than what I was expecting. Because I didn't know much about, like, the Invisible Man origin when I watched it. But this is definitely a lot more different than your dad's Invisible Man. But yeah, I like the ending for this movie, and it was entertaining to watch despite the stupid characters making stupid decisions. And I actually paid money to watch to rent this, and I feel good supporting this one. I'm in between 2 ratings for it, but both pretty good ratings. I don't know. It's clearly flawed, but I had a lot more fun with this one than I expected. I'm giving it a 7 at the moment out of 10, but it's closer to a 6. Next, I saw a beautiful documentary that was shot on 70mm film in 5 years in 25 different countries on 5 continents called Samsara. Ooh, baby. Just thinking about it, I'm upping this a star. It's one of those films where so much happens, but there's like, first off, there's no talking in this movie. It's all footage. Like, it's eye candy. It's beautiful to watch. It's amazing to listen to. It's on Amazon Prime at the moment in the US. I definitely recommend it to anyone. You have to be in the right mindset to watch it, but once you get into it, you're stuck. You're hooked for the rest of the movie. It says so much in such a short time span. It's about an hour and 46 minutes long, but there's so many different types of commentary on different cultures and what we deem accessible or not in this movie, and there's literally no talking at all. If you sit back and you're not at all tired and want to watch something like this, then check it out. I honestly think you all should check out the trailer, and if it seems like you can watch something like this, then please do, because it is such an amazing documentary. I'm giving Samsara a 9 out of 10. Speaking of documentaries, Exit Through the Gift Shop. This is a crazy documentary directed by an anonymous street artist. I don't want to say much other than crazy French dude films everything involving graffiti street art, gets the idea to make a documentary. Documentary completely sucks and unwatchable. Decides to put up an art show. What the hell happens next? That's the selling point right there. Watch this movie. It's awesome. 8 out of 10. Vivarium. This is Birth Control, the movie. It's so frustrating to watch. Now, while I overall like this, I don't recommend this movie to many people. It's so hard to watch. It's so uncomfortable in what it's saying, and you kind of just understand the point of it in the first 30 minutes, and it goes on for a little longer than an hour and a half. What I liked about it was how weird it was. I like weird movies and stuff being unexplained and cryptic. I could see that being a big turnoff for a lot of newer viewers. But overall, I will say I was a bit disappointed with it. The trailers looked fantastic. I loved the poster for the movie. I wanted more out of it, but it could have been a lot worse. And for what it showed, I could confidently say I overall enjoyed it, but I definitely wish it was a little better and said a little more, and that the pacing wasn't so frustrating and difficult to sit through. But yeah, I give it a 6 out of 10, and I think that's fair. If you want to watch a much better movie with both Imogen Poots and Jesse Eisenberg, check out Art of Self-Defense. Oops, Poppy forgot to add a movie. Yeah, I also saw Call of the Wild. You can guess how good that piece of shit was. Literally nothing was good about it. Like, I didn't enjoy anything about it. It wasn't as big of a piece of shit colossal dumpster fire as I expected, but honestly, that doesn't mean much for the movie. The CGI was god-awful. You never get used to it. All the dogs are CGI. Like, you could tell there was a human in a human suit, because it's not like they're literally looking off to nothing. There's just no life to it. I mean, I guess it's better than just having real dogs being abused on set, but I feel like the technology isn't there yet. They tried. Like, that's why I don't think this is the worst thing ever. But at the same time, like, I don't like this movie at all. I just thought it sucked. It's not there yet. The technology's not there. Harrison Ford didn't do that well. There was nothing going for the movie. I didn't like it at all. It was preachy. It was stupid. It sucked. 3 out of 10. There. And then finally, the last movie I saw during quarantine, at least for the month of March, we're still going through it, is... You already know this one. Magic Mike XXL, baby! It's a dumb sequel to Magic Mike. 5 out of 10.